It's C-Doc again.
Tuesday, mother night, y'all. You know what time it is?
Yay.
That time. What's up, M-Rock? It's your man, So Chuckified. DJ M-Rock in the house. What up?
What's up, So Chuckified? How you doing, bro?
Doing all right. What about you, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Digging that outfit today.
I got the It's C-Doc Again custom T-shirt from Jenny O'Jenny.
Nice.
I think she runs a sweatshop in her basement.
She does. Little dog working on them.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how we roll, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can only see just a small square, but at first I thought it was like a West Side Story angle there, but now I'm seeing it's more Michael Jackson. What have you been up to, bro?
Man, what have I been up to? Been working on some beats for some projects, which, it's always weird, dude. I want to like shout it from the rooftops, like what I'm working on right now, but I can't. So let's just say some good stuff is cooking in the oven, and I've been working on a music video for the From the Land of Lions album dropping March 25th. Shameless plug, everybody.
Yeah, man, I saw that. I was excited. At first I thought it already dropped. I saw your post. I was like, oh shit, I need to go listen to this. And I was like, oh, it's March 25th.
That's right. There's still some time. But yeah, I hope people dig it, man. It's going to be cool. So how about you, man? How's life treating you?
Man, I'm just worn out. Jobs kicking my tail, but I'm all right. Doing all right. It's warming up. Got out, did a little fishing today. I'm taking off Thursday, doing some fishing. So
good for you, bro. Yeah,
you know how our hip hop nation does out there. We out there chasing those largemouth bass.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking
man.
of large mouths, let's bring on our next host. And that was a great segue. Jenny, what's up, playa?
What's up?
I'm gonna zoom in on you since I gave you such the intro.
Yeah. Since you said I had a big mouth.
No.
At least you didn't compare me to a fish. There you go.
No.
Speaking of Chilean, let's bring on our next guest.
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell was that?
Look, finally,
mate.
I'm doing it too.
Yeah, matching shirts.
Yep.
I am not. I've got the autograph Brother Bob Scarface T-shirt.
Nice, bro.
Hang out with them and DJ Quick.
Nothing wrong with
things.
DJ Quick, your favorite.
DJ Quick's good. He's not for everybody, but he's West Coast. Y'all know how much I love West Coast and Michigan. West Coast and Michigan is kind of my go-tos. Detroit.
Well, but isn't it called the left coast, not the West Coast?
The left coast, yeah, it is. It is called the left coast because it's where the ribs hang out. It's the leftist coast. We only got 7 motherfuckers out here. Come on, y'all. Call your friends, call your neighbors, get your kids out of bed. Let's do this shit.
Wow.
Sakes.
That was wow.
Yeah, we got a special show, guys. You are not going to want to miss this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Type style.
It's not Joe Fatal, but
Right.
No, we won't be murdering anyone on the show tonight.
No.
might be digging into some cold cases. Speaking of cold cases, I was listening to a podcast the other day about it's called Slow Burn by Slate, and they go through the whole Tupac Biggie thing. It's pretty interesting. I learned a couple of things I didn't know.
Have you ever
Just some
heard
trivia.
Daddy-O's story about Tupac?
I have.
And
And I
Biggie?
won't. Yes.
Daddy-O, better known as the Forrest Gump of hip hop.
That's right. 5 degrees of Daddy-O separation. Like in this person and this person and then Daddy-O. Yeah.
Daddy-O was there. You can see him over in the corner. Yep.
Always like a little fly on the wall. He's like Spider-Man
Yeah.
creeping around. Speaking of creeping around, it's probably a good time to bring on the ball.
The man, the myth.
The segues are getting weirder by the minute.
Oh, keeping you off kilter. I'm channeling a little Flavor Flav tonight, but
Speaking of big mouth bass,
Yeah. Speaking of people with restraining orders, let's bring in our next host.
all right, y'all know him best as the man, the myth, the legend. His name is C-Doc, the Warhammer. The motherfucker brings beats. Welcome to the
I'm gonna
show.
say it. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
All right. Joe Pickle.
That was the best intro.
All right.
all
All
right.
right. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Oh,
Hey,
Whoa, what's up?
how's it going? Thanks for the shirt.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
My girl.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
What's up, fam?
Laura.
I'm still waiting on my everything muffin, so chuckified.
It's a little stale right now, so I was thinking about heating it up and then.
That makes you so fuckified.
Boy, if I had $1 for any
Everything's
time I've been
bagel.
called that.
I bet.
Yeah. Sounds personal. Wow.
So you got like 2 minutes to ask me anything about C-Doc.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
shit. Who wants to start? Jenny, you go. You're the
I
top.
I don't have any questions about C-Doc.
What size shoe do you wear?
What's
A 10. And you know what that means.
I'm sorry. Yeah. That's exactly where I was going with it.
He has big feet. That's what that means.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
You know what they say about guys with big hands and big feet.
They wear big shoes and big gloves.
Thank you. Yay! Give her.
All right,
a
Mark.
silver-
Question for you.
Go ahead, Emma. Yeah.
Does C-Doc only let your kids listen to classic hip hop, or does he let them explore their own musical choices?
They explore their own musical choices. Our oldest, Davey, will listen to anything from Bob Dylan to Public Enemy. He's a big Daddy-O fan.
Nice.
We know.
In
Yeah.
preschool, they were learning like Itsy Bitsy Spider, and Davey goes to school talking about large professor, and the teachers were like, huh? So they went and looked it up, and they were like, was he really talking about this guy?
What's up, right
Yeah,
there?
Awesome.
So-
Your kids are awesome.
they are. They're a lot of fun, but they're also, pain in the ass.
Yeah. As kids
They're
are.
kids.
Yes.
Right.
How do they refer to them? They're a handful,
Yeah,
right?
majorly.
They're a handful.
All right. What's the most gangster thing C-Doc has ever done?
The most gangster thing C-Doc has ever done.
He wore a top hat.
He did wear a top hat. Like
He did. I found a picture of C-Doc. He has his hair all spiked up, and the only thing covering him is the American flag.
Oh.
How very Red Hot Chili Peppers of you.
It's very Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah.
Was it one of those little flags that go in like your pencil holder?
Oh no, that wouldn't cover it. It was a full-size flag.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Well,
Lengthwise
know-
or width?
Why are you so interested?
I don't know. You're the one that you laid the groundwork for this
you
line of
brought
questions.
it up.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Questions.
Wow.
All right, we'll
I wish you were
we'll
hearing
segue.
this.
I'm,
All
I'm
right,
a
well,
little
here's-
embarrassed.
Here's Sea-Dog. Again.
Just a little.
Again, nice pun. See what you did there.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
You
We'll
do
go back
have
and
to say it in
that'll
Daddy's
turn your
voice, though.
It was probably better that I didn't hear that.
We got some kind of once you came on, there's like a big hum, and your mic is like super loud.
My mic is?
Yeah.
And there's
Y'all
a
hear
weird vacuum cleaner noise in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, let me
Somebody's-
unplug this. Is that better?
Eric, crazy. Yeah, that sounds better.
There
Okay,
is.
it was I had the thing. What's the thing?
It's the thing.
Thanks, hon.
Yeah, the thing hooked up to the thing.
Yeah. You know
All
the
that
thing.
technical speak.
Yeah.
Somebody have like a rabid cockatiel or something in the background. What is that? Oh, I can't-
I'd imagine that's Jennifer Zoo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A rabid cockatiel. No. First of all, birds don't get rabid.
Do you know
That's
that?
number
for a fact?
one. Yes, I used to breed birds.
Okay. How do you breed a bird?
You put a boy and a girl in a cage and you hope for the best.
Do they fly while they do it, or do they like?
No,
it's
no, we could actually. Well, no, he's in the kitchen because he's being loud. But there's certain things that he does to his perch every day that are, really not suitable for, kind of DJ Yella in the basement.
I wonder if Yella knows that he is now an adjective.
We should get him on so we can tell him.
I'm sure.
We should
I'm
get-
sure he.
Him and Tretch. We'll get them on. And Snoop. Those three. We're
Yeah.
gonna have a hell of a show.
There you go.
Wouldn't be about, but Jenny, are you still rehabbing that Wolverine over there in your zoo?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm just bringing crazy shit up.
I'm not rehabbing a Wolverine. No. No, but
By the way,
oh no, I don't have anybody joining me yet.
that's usually later in the show.
Yeah, this is later when they're bored.
Yeah.
It's like midnight and we're still going.
Right.
Mom, you coming to bed? What were you gonna say, C-Doc?
I was gonna say I want to. You know what we don't do? We don't ever do. I want to shout out everybody on here and say follow us on Instagram. Follow Spit Slam Records and follow Jenny O Jenny and M Rock and So Chuckified, and I'm on there as the Davy J Show, and follow us on Instagram. But definitely follow Spit Slam so you can stay up on what's up with Spit Slam.
I heard their social media guy sucks.
He's alright.
He posts about once a month.
He does a lot of reposting though, so that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. He likes to work on the backs of others.
if it wasn't for that Jennifer O'Jenny bitch, he wouldn't really have anything to post.
That's true. I think that he's like really trying to pass the torch to you. I may talk to him about that and see.
You have to talk to Jennifer O'Jenny first. I understand she's not easy to deal with.
Man, I'll tell you what. I don't know if this means our 9 o'clock start time was a bad idea, or
Right?
or not. I don't know.
Except Wisdom Beats is here. Hype Style is here.
They got the memo.
Flatline is here.
Flatline told me he wasn't even going to be here, so props, Flatline.
Maybe he's not. He just posted "damn" LOL and left.
Oh, that could be.
He's like, damn.
Maybe.
It's C-Doc Old Lady again. Damn.
Oh, yeah,
No.
surprise.
Nope.
There he is.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I'm saying.
I like
Well, I
that
see it.
song.
What we say?
I like it. I like that track Imrock's playing.
Oh, Fushnikins.
Little Fushnikins.
Ooh, Schnickens. Nice. Haven't heard that one in a while.
Mm.
Yeah. Right?
Did you see that Yagfu Front put up more of his shirts?
Yeah, and they sold out again.
Did they?
Yeah. Like I didn't see it when he first posted it, and I was later in the day and I saw re-up. I was like, sweet, and I went and it was sold out. I was like, what are you kidding me?
Wow. You should have told me. I would have. Because I saw it. I don't know when I saw it, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I was seriously considering.
Yeah.
Are we sure that he actually exists? I mean, we just had a profile photo during the interview.
A pulsating profile.
Yeah, it could be artificial intelligence. You know, he's a computer.
I'll be here for a while. And
Shout
should we
out
tip
to-
our waiters?
Yes.
Try the veal.
Yes.
I'll be here all week.
Yep.
Hmm. Oh, wow. Looks like we've got a very special guest in the green room.
Yeah.
Try the veal.
It's hard to believe that he's affiliated with rap. He's on time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Pleasant surprise.
That's
Because he's not a rapper. That's why.
Right. He's a CEO. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. That's the difference.
I get in, get out, bitches.
You know? Sign the artist, sign the check. There you go.
Oh, let me pull our slide back up here so everybody can see what we're talking about tonight. Let's see here.
Well, that's not okay. There.
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jenny, it's a little delay. There's a little delay. You're ready to jump on the social media guy or his friend.
What are you talking about?
That's not the.
What are you talking about?
Got my hamsters on the wheel over here trying to run my computer.
Well, you're going to have to
You hooked
call.
me up with an Arabian Prince.
Yep, Arabian Prince. Get that machine.
Did you email him?
Well, no, I don't have that kind of coin sitting around.
Okay, but did you email him?
No, I'm not going to bother him if I don't have any money to give him.
I told him. You said, "Give me his," and I did, and I alerted him that he would be hearing from you.
I know. It's corporate
And
game.
you know,
I don't have any time. My wife got sick. I've been on deck with the kids. Cooked salmon tonight and did the gymnastics.
you know what this is?
I know what that is. Yeah, I know what that
Okay.
is. That's the way I did it when I was younger.
So anyway, tonight on It's C-Doc again. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to segue in there, Doc. I've just been filling.
I know. No, we are honored tonight. We have a very special guest in the house. His name is Chris Schwartz, the man behind Roughhouse Records and some of the greatest hip hop releases of the 90s. And some other releases that you may not have realized. You know, there was some there's some hidden gems in the Roughhouse catalog. So let's bring him on, Mr. Chris Schwartz.
What's up,
Yeah.
y'all? How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, but good.
All right.
Very
Well,
happy to be here.
we're thrilled to have you, man. So, if you need to check out and get some clock some Z's, it's all good.
No, I'm all good. So, you guys were talking about the Yagfu front when I was listening when I first came on.
Yes,
man. I remember driving around in my car and listening to that. There were two things that were out, but one of them I think was like either like something independent, and the other thing they were on the label for like a minute, and I love that record, man. Oh my god! and you know what's crazy? I completely had forgotten about it. It's like one of those crazy. It just left my mind, and that was it. And a friend of mine in England has a he does like rarities like on vinyl and stuff, vinyl releases, and he had like 5 or 6 songs by them that they had done before they were signed to their first record deal. I forget who it was, but really cool stuff.
Wow, that's dope. Yeah, we had Damage from Yagfu on a couple weeks ago.
So where is he living now?
He's still in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So that I guess they're working on some new material finally.
Wow. So. Do you have a contact on him? I'd like
of course. We will hook you up with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm doing a lot of vinyl right now.
Yeah. So that was one of the other things I wanted to talk about. So I just got this. Shout out to DJ Too Tough.
Let me take a look there. I don't have my glasses on. Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's an awesome record.
Right? Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love this.
So I guess we'll just start at the end and say, start at where we are. And, let's talk about Rough Nation Entertainment and doing
you never start in the middle. The middle was probably the most miserable period of my life. And I like but I'm sorry. So it started at Rough Nation, right? Yeah. Which Rough Nation? Because there was like 4 or 5 of them.
let's talk about the vinyl, the vinyl thing you got going on now.
Yeah. So as you probably know, we are in the midst of a unprecedented vinyl resurgence, and just to give folks an idea on how big it really is, 1978 was the biggest year in the history of the music business for vinyl records, meaning that they sold 334 million records in 1978.
Wow.
In the year 2000, less than 1 million. And it's the hip hop genre was the first to abandon it. They were the first to say, screw this, because it was all about getting music out there, right? So as soon as like digital processes had really like reduced studio time to nothing, and suddenly it was like downloading, it was like, oh wow, I'll have to wait like 6 weeks to get my record out. So then it just accelerated, right? So all throughout this period, the kind of like the hardcore bands and the punk bands, the indie labels and everything, they were all keeping vinyl alive, because the simple reality is that these guys don't stream. So vinyl became like the kind of mainstay of their merchandising, right? So you would have these like punk bands that basically would make a record, right? Go to get it pressed, and they do shows, but they would not play any of their new songs until that record was released. That's how serious like these guys took it, right? So 2011, the major labels are starting to see a little bit of an uptick in the kind of like the audiophile collectors market, for like jazz and country and stuff like that, and it starts to build and build and build and build. And then finally, I think that like the dam really broke open. Like it actually it was before COVID. It was that year before COVID. It started to break open really big. And so vinyl is problem is that in 2000, the major distribution powers, Warner's, Universal, and Sony, got rid of their pressing plants because there was no point in having them, right? So now the pressing plants are all gone. So the only pressing plants are the little ones like us, and the problem is that these little plants have become so overrun, because I see it every day with ours. Is that you got these smaller acts come in, they can they'll do this like they normally do, get like 500 records, 1,000 records, whatever, but then Disney will come along and say, well, we'll pay you $13 a record to do 20,000 records, right? So
right.
So, but anyhow, to make a long story even longer, so Phil Nicolo is my ex-partner from Roughhouse, Joe Nicolo's twin brother. Phil is a Grammy-winning producer. He's a well-respected mastering engineer, and he was he was on the National Board of Governors for the Grammys for I think 20 years. He was one of 13 people in charge of the Grammys, right?
Wow.
But he's I'll tell you, the Nicolos, neither of them. I mean, those guys, when it comes to studio and stuff like that, they're no joke. I mean, right. they really know their shit. So Phil, Studio 4, right? Where we've been making records for years, is noticed that all these rock bands are coming in, recording with one of the guys at Studio 4, a producer named Will Yip. Will Yip did Title Fight, Agent Orange, and he's one of the hottest producers in rock, right? So Atlantic, Warner's, they're giving these bands are Will's making 2, 3, 4 records a month, but the budgets are really small. They're $7,500, $10,000, whatever. But right. The thing is, where the money for the band is, it's in the vinyl, right? It's in the vinyl. So, but the thing is, there wasn't a good place to get vinyl records pressed, within a band's budget. So Phil had this concept of building this state-of-the-art, vinyl pressing plant. And so it took hold and it happened and we did it. And then as he was going into the planning, I was noticing, because one of my partners is the largest vinyl retailer in Philadelphia. He has 2 stores. And if you go into a store, you've got 300 bins, that you can put 6, 7 different releases in.
Yeah.
Only 8 of them are hip hop. And of the 8, 4 are new records. Hip hop is the hardest shit to get out there. And the reason being is that the major distribution powers get all their records pressed up in the Czech Republic and Croatia, right?
Right.
Because it's pennies on the dollar. And over there, they got these massive factories, and the towns live around the factories. It's like Volkswagen, Wolfsburg, right? So everybody works at the factory. And so the thing is, in order to make it economically feasible to have records shipped over here, do the whole thing, they have to do massive, massive orders. But they can't gang it. It has to be the same title. They can't put different titles in there. Right. So what happens is that now they're focusing on, Guardians of the Galaxy and Fleetwood Mac and the Eagle, all that shit, right?
Right.
So then there's a lot of humanitarian music, I call it, human music, right? That, be it whatever type of rock or hip hop or soul, whatever, a lot of it is getting it's just not. It's not there, right? And so, the guys who work in these stores, when they get a new hip hop title in, they basically order 5 times what they normally order, because they know that when it runs out, they're not going to get any more, right?
Right.
So I said to myself, "Wow, wouldn't this be a great opportunity to go back and be doing vinyl again?" And so right now I have 15 albums out, some of them out, they're all on schedule, and another 10 coming down the pike. But we have a lot of records, right? And and it's the trajectory has no end in sight.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
It started with the Fugees. We're doing the Score triple vinyl set, which we're still doing at some point. And I'm doing, I got New Cypress coming out. I've got new RZA vinyl, the new Bobby Digital, and Saturday Afternoon Kung Fu Theater. I've got RZA, Flatbush Zombies, Rick Hyde. I said
Schoolie.
right?
Schoolie.
Yeah. Schoolie D, Tough Crew. I'm working, allegedly on a Goats record, right?
Wow.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other artists. I'm dying to tell you guys about, but I can't.
We know how that goes.
No, but I can tell you this. It would blow your mind.
That's exciting.
Oh, I got the Styles P record out.
Oh, right.
P
Yeah, right.
Havoc.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
said Rick Hyde, right? I got an El Camino record coming. Yeah, and then I got something really, really, God, oh, man. Yeah, I'm dying to talk about it, but I can't. When does this air?
Well, it's airing
Right
right
now.
now.
Oh, it is. All right, good. So that means I couldn't use plausible denial. That would have been willful. Hey, it's like it's almost like you're getting watched on a camera. It's like,
Right.
hey, well, maybe I can tell you. When does this air? It's live. You're on. My client has no recollection of those events.
My dude Flat9 also mentioned Arrested Development too.
Thank you. Oh my God. Yes. Arrested Development.
Yep.
I've got their new album, right?
Yep.
It's got I'll tell you what, man. It's crazy about that record. It is like, not only is it's like one of our biggest releases, like right alongside the new Cypress album. And
Wow.
It's amazing. Like they're going through like a total resurgence. And over like in Europe, it's nuts. It's nuts. I mean, it's we have distributors over there calling up and they're freaking out because they're like saying, well, who's working with them over here? Like who's helping them with the tour and everything like that? You know, it's like, well, where were you guys for the last 3 years, whatever. But but doing this record, it's a double album set called For the Love, and then the last one, Don't Fight Your Demons. I'm gonna be re-releasing that one too.
Dope. Shout out to Configa, the producer.
Oh man, dope.
Yep.
Yep.
Shout out to Configa. So
Yeah,
Configa's
that
my
Arrested
homie.
dope as hell.
You know what's crazy? I was late night. Like Chuck D posted a Twitter of a tweet of the video link for the song Vibe.
Mhm.
And the crazy thing about this is that Big Daddy Kane had just done the verses literally like a week and a half before this record came out. So he was like being talked about quite a bit, right? And then like out of the blue, here's this Arrested Development record with him performing on it. And I was like, wow, I wonder what they're doing for vinyl, because usually I already know nothing, right? So I went to his Twitter account, Speech's Twitter account, no go there. And I went to his Instagram and I sent him a message thinking, there's no way I'm ever gonna hear back from this guy, you know? Get up 7 o'clock the next morning. Yeah, man, let's roll, you know? And it was awesome. I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's dope. So you just kind of how do I want to say it? Like farming out vinyl services? Is that how it's kind of working?
Well, no, I'm a distributor. I'm like a label.
Okay. So and you're just but you're only doing the wax.
Yeah, I'm distributing. Well, I just concluded a arrangement to do I'm doing a I'm doing some records now with formerly E1, now called Monarch.
Okay.
A lot of crazy titles there. We press records for people. I just did 15,000 King's Disease 2 for Nas, double album set.
Wow.
This is such a great record, you know. And
yeah,
Nas was he was originally signed to Roughhouse back in the day.
Yeah,
and
we could talk about that.
Yeah, and Miss Hill sings on the record too. And it's like just that song, Nobody. It's just I'll tell you what's awesome about it, right? Because you know, a lot of artists, they're the lyrics that they come up with and what they do when they're purveying their art behind the microphone. A lot of times it gets written in the back of a car on the way to the studio, right? Doesn't mean that it doesn't represent their philosophical pedigrees or anything like that. It's just how it is.
Right.
On that song, when she's on that song and I'm listening to her, it's as though I'm talking to her on the phone. You know what I mean? It's like everything she's saying is like, this is what she says. This is how, you know what? It's like,
Yeah.
it was.
That's amazing.
So what so let's shift gears a little bit. I mean, clearly you've worked with the who's who and continue to do that. Who was the easiest artist or group to work with? Like, who's your favorite?
Easiest?
I know it's like picking your children, but you know.
No, in terms of like total, like in terms of logistically,
Or just like, you know,
no,
like
no, no.
if you
Let me just who showed up and who put in the work, no questions asked, was there before anybody else. Cypress Hill.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
You know what? Here's the thing about them. People, on the whole, when you look at this from a global perspective, people don't realize how big they really are. It's like, it's you look at Miss Lauryn Hill, right? These artists travel to more like exotic locales in different places throughout God's earth than most marquee name hip hop artists, right? And Cypress Hill, you know, I mean, they were first in a lot of things. They were the first Latino group to ever, you know, have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They're the first group to ever have back-to-back multi-platinum records. They you know, they're pioneers, right? And they just, you know, they treated it like they knew that, you know, this is our livelihood, this is what we do, and we take it seriously. Their documentary, the director, or not the director, the one of the producers, he goes, this is the first time I've ever worked with a hip hop group where I've shown up to the set and they're there before me.
Wow.
Wow.
Kind of apropos of what we were joking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right. Chris, were you surprised by the radio success of Cypress Hill back in the day? I can remember on pop radio hearing Hand on the Pump and Insane in the Membrane and all that.
Oddly enough, we were trying to get a versus together with Cypress and Naughty by Nature, right? Because we thought that would be a good matchup, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, there was like a little like, well, which group is, you know, really has like, you know, blah 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 blah. And so I went and I looked at like just from a pure chart perspective, like what was what. And Naughty by Nature had more singles. As a matter of fact, I had no idea they had as many singles as they did. You know, because one thing in Naughty by Nature, I think of like 3 songs, right?
Yep.
So I'm going and I'm looking at the chart positions, everything like that. It's like, wow, these guys, like, you know, they really, but they didn't have like the same sales in terms of like, you know, platinum records as Cypress, right? But then when I looked at Cypress's, you know, radio, it was looking kind of anemic, you know. I mean, I'm not saying compared to Naughty by Nature, just in general. I thought they were bigger at radio than they really were, right? But the thing is, like anything else, if you go back to the 70s, the 60s and the 70s, right? The 90s were a really interesting decade in music because, you know, hip hop comes out in the 70s. And, you know, by the time it started to really gain momentum, the labels kind of looked at hip hop like, because you got to remember, these guys just made asses out of themselves with disco, right? And, you know, they kind of looked at hip hop as being the you know, like a respite, so to speak, from like the disposable functionality of disco. And I love disco, by the way. I play guitar and I play disco all the time. And the, you know, cynicism, like with like punk rock and stuff like that. And nobody actually thought hip hop was going to be around, right, much longer. So they just kind of gave it a wide berth, so to speak. So hip hop kind of had this like thing where it didn't really have an identity. It didn't have a place. You know, black radio didn't know what to do with it, right? If you really looked at it in the late 70s, going into the early 80s and everything, there wasn't enough hip hop music in existence to program a show on radio, right?
Right.
And a lot of thing too is that it's like groups like Nucleus jam on it, right? Okay, it might be a ridiculous song, but you know what? You know what was important about that song was that you had the whole breakdance movement, everything, and it was those electro funk records. It was like Africa Bambaataa, Arthur Baker and those guys, but really Jam On It by Nucleus. That was the song that gave black radio the kind of like, whoa, wait, so what's going on here? We can kind of play something like this. We can do this. That song really propelled. Now, admittedly, I wasn't a big Houdini fan and groups. I thought a lot of that shit to me was so corny, right? But by the time we got into the 90s, a couple things happened. And first and foremost, the CD was invented in 1983 by Philips and Sony. And if you wanted to get a CD made, right, it was like $5 because it was like this thing. So my lawyer had the first CD record label in the country. And he went around to all the labels to get digital rights. They're like, yeah, whatever. They were laughing at him, right? He sold the company, and that company makes up 9% of Warner's global catalog sales, right? So anyhow, so it costs in the early 80s, it costs about $1.75 to make an album, right? So that's for when you're buying a record jacket, it's not the materials, it's not that, it's the machine that folds it. That's what you're really paying for, right? So it costs $1.75 to make a record, $4 to make a CD, $5 to make a CD, right? So then CDs start to become ubiquitous, right? Everybody gets CDs now, right? So going into the early 90s, if you're a major distribution power and you're doing volume, you're paying about 68 cents a CD. For 68 cents, you're getting the jewel box, the CD, the 4-color gatefold pull-out, or you get the whole shebang, 68, 72 cents roughly, right? But you go into Tower Records, CDs are now $16.99, $17.99. Albums, on the other hand, cost $1.75, and they're still hovering there at like $11, right? CDs are just more. Is it because they sounded better? Maybe people thought so, right? But the whole thing is that what had happened was the 90s started out as this great thing because it was like FM album rock all over again, right? Hip hop had become an album-oriented format. In the 80s, if you had a hit song, right, in hip hop, it was a good bet you were going to sell a couple albums, right? But that all changed, and the audience and the artists, everything kind of like turned into like a much more of an artistic endeavor. They looked at albums, suddenly became conceptual. There were skits, there was ideas, there was all this stuff. Plus, there was now the budgets were starting to even out, right? It is a historical thing. It was always that, in the 70s and, part of the 80s, if you had an R&B group, you gave them $120,000 to make a record. They had like a month to do it, right? A rock group, they got $350,000, $400,000, and they could take all year if they wanted to, right? So things started to even out. But there was a yin and yang part of this, right? The part that really started to hurt was that the profit margins on CDs were so absurd that the major labels just kind of got like, they started floating in their own greed. And the label heads, these guys, they get paid a salary and they get a bonus, right? Well, the CD sales were so unbelievable, the amount of money that they were making, they turned around to their corporate bosses, the boards of these companies, and said, tell you what, I won't even take a salary. Pay me on market share, because market share is important to these companies, right? So how do you get market share, right? You get market share by shipping CDs, okay? So what happens is that suddenly What's CDs? Oh, we could, but this would be CD. You're going to put it out as a CD, right? So this kind of mentality started to seep down from the upper echelons of management into the A&R floor, where it's like you suddenly had, I mean, it's happened to all of us sitting here, right? How many of you have ever gone out and you spent $14, $15 on a CD because you heard a song and you got home and you said, what? Right? Seriously. But and you know what? I never even heard this term that started popping up in like the mid to late 90s, the focus track. What's the focus track? I mean, it's like every song should be a focus track.
Right.
And they just started churning out shit and nobody would say anything. Right.
Yep.
So now if you're a kid and you're in your disposable income, you might get $20 a week. Right.
Right.
Well, are you now going to go and spend that on a CD that you don't even know anything about? Right. And you're going to get burned. Right. Or
Because of one song.
you'll buy some weed and just listen to it on Napster. See, the industry put kids into the arms of Napster.
Yep.
They did it just the way. It's like because kids don't give a shit. They don't care. Kids don't care how bad the song sounds on Napster. They don't give a shit. They just want the song.
Right.
So so it was the most profitable decade in the history of music, but at the same time, it was like when the whole thing really just came to a kind of like an ugly end. And you know, but now what I find really interesting is that when you have a market like this on the vinyl side, right? And they're saying the IRAA, that's the the government federal agency, or the IRAA, they profess, again, like I said, if the industry had the capacity to press records, 2021, we'd have been over 400 million sold, right?
Wow.
So what that means is that the music business that was in my heyday, my zenith in the music business, right? The business I'm in now is bigger than it was back then.
Wow. That's crazy. Never would have called that.
Yeah, you know what? It's if somebody would have told me that 2 years ago that I would be back, I would be doing this more like full time and working with every seminal Roughhouse act of note, right? Man, I just wish I could say some of the things we're deals that we're doing right now, but I just can't. It just wouldn't be proper. But
all right.
But it's all really cool stuff. I mean,
we'll have you back on the show, Chris, when you can tell us.
just for this, just bring me on for like 30 seconds.
Yep.
Right.
You let us know.
Roughhouse promo. Yeah.
Yep. We do the
So why do
Roughhouse,
you think,
the Rough Nation update. Yeah.
right. So why do you think there's a big resurgence in vinyl?
Why?
I mean,
I'll tell you exactly why. People don't play vinyl. 66% of records sold never leave the shrink wrap. As a matter of fact, I have a couple offices, and one of them is in the record store, right? And if it's a huge record store, it's in the back with the stuff. And I watch people buy records all day long. There's people that go in there, they're buying records, and they don't have a turntable because records are a merchandising item, right? It's a piece of art. It's something that you can hold, feel, touch, right? It's the and I hate to say this sometimes, but it's almost like the majors not having the ability to press records. I look at it, it's not a great situation, but at the same time, if they did have the ability, right? Because I don't think some of these guys, some of them want to accept the fact that the vinyl record, because you make a lot of money on these, right? But it's never going to be the mass consumers choice for audio playback. That's never going to happen, right? It's too much work for people to use turntables, right? So it's kind of like, you know, there's a thing like with Amazon, right? It's called dynamic pricing, and what it is that say you press up 10,000 records, right? And you would ship them all out there, and Amazon would get 2, 3, 4,000 of them, right? And what happens is very similar to what the appliance stores did with CDs back in the late 90s, right?
Right.
So Amazon will pay the wholesale price, which is here. This is a retail price, but their computer, their algorithms will tell them, you know what? Lower the price down here, right, to this retail price to get people onto their platform to buy all their other shit, right? And they'll keep paying. They'll do it as a loss leader because they'll make up for it on the other thing.
Right.
So what happens? What happens is that all these other retailers that have the record, and there's about 3,800 of them across the country that matter. They have the record. You got all these online sites that have the record. Then you have all these people that go, oh, fuck this. I'm going to go get it on Amazon. I can get it for for nothing, right? So now you have these records sitting in the store, right? And the consumer, the psychology, the way they perceive is that they see these records and they're like, well, what's going on with that? Why is it only this? That should be a double album set. That should be a $39.99. Why is it selling for, $17.80? You know what I mean? And so I think that because, the guys that work at major labels, the buyers and everything, and the guys who are the salespeople and all that, their jobs are basically, what did you get out the door today? Right? They're not there for they're not thinking about the long term. They're thinking about what did I kill today and bring to the table for everybody, right? And so, there's a lot of, I feel like, a lot of these records, man, like we put a lot of time, effort, and energy into these records. They're beautiful, right? I mean, we do we make records for the Sinatra estate. This is a state-of-the-art facility. And, I just doing all these great records only to think that, thank God it's not going to happen because I'm controlling that part of it. But, when we make records for other labels and stuff, it's like, this is a record that should sell for X amount of dollars, right? And my whole thing that I preach constantly, right? So these guys from BMG called me up to talk about making a record, right? And it was one of the guys that's executive vice president of production for BMG. And I took the opportunity to write him this big, long 2-page letter, right? He's asked me, can we press records? I said, yeah, we can. But hey, you know what? I know I should be telling you this, but let me tell you something, right? And I went through this whole thing, right? And I ended it with saying, I apologize for this kind of like this rambling dissertation on the vinyl business. But I feel like if I could talk to somebody that matters once in a while, right? At least I could say I could try it, right? Because the key thing is less is more, right?
Yes.
It's like you can have a title and you can keep re-releasing it, and it could be a perennial. You can do it forever, right? And I learned a long time ago from Sony, right? When it's CBS, that you always want to undership. You never want to, because once it runs out and people get they're reordering and everything, it creates like this sort of paradigm of like, wow, that record, you know what I mean? And so yeah. I don't understand like why people just can't grasp this basic concept that right. that like, okay, so it's a popular artist. Okay, I dig that, right? So that if you're going to put out, 10, 15,000 records, they're going to sell through fairly quickly. Well, why not put out 5,000 limited edition, charge twice as much for them, and have them sell, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's an ego thing. It's about like, it's like the chart game and all that crap. And it's like, okay, whatever,
I was just looking for the Stetsasonic limited edition.
Did you say Stetsasonic?
I sure did.
So
We got new Stetsasonic coming, Chris.
love Stetson, man.
Yep.
I mean, I love all those artists. You know, what's there not to love? Because it was just so good. You know what?
Yeah.
It's funny. You know, I see a lot of artists like, you know, from this day and age. I bought this kid from Philly into the studio, and his name is Brian Grado, right? And he got like millions and millions of views and everything. It's like that. It's like, you know, blue hair one day, blonde the next, and all that shit. And you know, he comes in with his boys and like it's a lot of weed, right? A lot of weed. It's like, you know, I've been around the people, you know, I've hung out with probably some of the biggest weed smokers in the world. But, you know, you know, people, you say you share a blunt, right? It goes around, right? I don't partake, but each guy had his own. Each guy had his own, like smoking it, right? And the thing is, it didn't end at just one. It just went on and on and on and on, right? So they're looking for beats, right, on YouTube, and they spend about 4 hours doing that. They come up with it. So they go through 2 channels on the board, and they do the vocal, the ad libs, right? Next day, they're figuring out what the video is going to be. The following day, they shoot a video, and then by Friday, they have it on YouTube, right? So this is what they do. This is a constant cycle that they do, okay? And I clearly remember when I was a young man of, I was 20 years old, and I was one of the first people to own a Roland TR 808, and so this was in 1981. Now I was 21, 1981, and I just remembered like the abuse that I was subjected to by all these cats that had been around in studios and playing and everything in the 60s and the 70s, right? They don't want to know about no drum machine, right? That's like some dumb shit that some untalented kids deal with, right? They don't want to know about that shit. So I thought, like, you know what? I'm not going to be that person, you know, because I can't, you know, just because I can't relate to the experience, and like, you know, it's really not fair. All right. So because they have the ability now to, you know, School ED has like, he can record he does it all on his phone, right? And he's got it set up in his house, so every room's a studio, right? It's nuts. And it's like, you know, it's great that these kids have that ability. And, you know, the only thing, you know, and I would say if there's anything that's like that's not so great about it, it's that, you know, we're in this DIY market, and the DIY market is like the fastest growing part of the music business sector worldwide. It's huge, right?
Right.
But the thing is that when a lot of these, so there's all these companies now, right? And they're all like, we're an artist services company. We have a publishing expert over here. We have a merchandising expert. We have this. It's like, oh, so you're an artist services merchandising, or your artist services platform providing business tools for the modern day DIY artists, right? No, you're a fucking manager. Let's call it for what it is. You're a manager, right? So, but the thing is, it's that the one thing that I noticed with a lot of these artists, and I was talking to somebody about it at Universal a couple months ago, is that it's very hard to get all the like the commercial opportunities. You know, you got kids out here that got like tens of millions of views and everything. They got like 11 billion, you know, whatever followers and all that, but they're not going to get the same opportunities as the kid who's like charting on Warner Brothers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the award shows and everything like that. There's like a real disconnect between the two sections of the business, and you know, that's the gist of it.
There you go, limited edition Stet.
What's that?
Limited edition Stet.
Yes, is that a 45?
Brand new.
Yeah.
Yep, brand new.
Right. Is that one of ours? No.
Nope. Brand new Stetsasonic.
Right. Oh, right. So they do have vinyl out, huh?
Yeah.
How many records did they put out? How many records did they put out?
There's of the red version. This is 100.
Right. See,
I didn't get one of those.
Daddy-O is a smart cat, right? And what did that 45 cost? Was it 11 billion? Did you have to finance it?
It was 11 billion. Yep.
Are they out of those? Did Jenny, did those sell out?
Reds? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're gone. But I'm sure Daddy-O, well, I don't know that Daddy-O has one. Bobby has a couple. I know that.
Oh, I may have to ask Bob then.
But
I got the black one. Right.
You were talking about nobody really. I mean, I have this, and I don't have a record player.
Right, because you're a typical vinyl buyer.
Because it's more of a collector's.
Right, and we love you for it, and we want you to buy more, and we want you to build up a hefty collection. No, but the thing is, there's the proof, right? People don't believe me when I tell them these sobering statistics about vinyl buyers, right?
They're purely collector's items.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to put a record on. It really is. It does sound better and everything, right? But most people, man, like if you smoke weed, right, and you're sitting there and you're high and you put on an album and you're sitting on your couch, and then it gets to the end of the first side, it's like, oh fuck. I gotta literally get up. I gotta walk get up and all the way the fuck over there, and I gotta change it. It's like people are just too lazy. But I have to tell you, man, I really love putting like this stuff together. It's all these records. Like I have the RZA record. It's got one of the most brilliant covers ever. The Arrested Development record. That's a record. It's got this beautiful young African American woman who's got an afro on the front and everything, and she's beautiful, right? But it's not only that. It looks like it's got this whole 70s thing, right? Like muted and all that. And it's that kind of record that when people go into the record store, they don't even know what it is, and they just grab it, right? Right. My partner Eric, who's like I tell you, the vinyl retailer in Philly, he has this record. He had this recording called Chicago Soul, right? And there's nobody on it. It's like, whatever, it's Chicago Soul, right? I watched a guy pick it up, and he looked at it, didn't even turn it around. He just put it in a stack and walked, went to the register, right? Because according to Eric, it's called Chicago Soul, right? And that sounds cool, doesn't it? Chicago Soul, right? So it's like, the great thing about this vinyl resurgence is that I have a lot of friends like over in England who have. I got this buddy. He's got a label called Gourmet Deluxe, and he does these really awesome, like really, really great packages. Like we've all seen cool merchandising in our day, right? But he takes it to a whole new level, right? And it's like he'll do just 25, just kind of like what Muggs does with Soul Assassins, right? Just limited and everything like that. And that's what's great about this market, because there's a premium on specialty merchandise, right? And again, that goes back to underpin my my philosophies and my fears, dreams, hopes, and aspirations in regards to, if you think you can sell 15,000, God bless you, but why not just do 6, okay, and sell through, right, and make more money in the meantime, and then let the other guy press up some records. Yeah.
Yep.
Chris, can we go? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jenny.
Go ahead. No, you go. You go.
I wanted to see if we could go back to the 90s. We were talking about the 90s before.
When was that?
When was that?
When was that? Oh, that was maybe toward the beginning of the conversation. We were saying the 90s was one of the coolest decades of music.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember much of it, but it was cool.
So, and I guess maybe this first part is late 80s, but I wanted to talk about sampling and the whole fallout with lawsuits. So De La gets sued, Tommy Boy gets sued by the Turtles. Then you have Bismarcky and Cold Chillin' get sued by Gilbert O'Sullivan. I was wondering, back in the day, hip hop was still a very sample-based art form. Did you feel any pressure on the label at the time to change up how you did music in order to?
Oh, what by the 90s?
Yes.
The first Cypress record, we got hit with like $800,000 in sample suits.
Wow.
But the really bad one was the Fugees. That's Enya, and it's from a composition she did for a Stephen King film called Nightcrawlers. And I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but it was bad. It was like, so I remember Schoolie got touched a couple times. He did a thing for Abel Ferrara, and he used a Led Zeppelin sample.
Oh, yeah.
And, he was in the courtroom, and they won like $180,000. And he didn't have any lawyers there. And the other side had like 15 lawyers, and the judge got pissed off. He goes, well, and the judge, it was crazy. The judge made them settle right there, and he got off. It was really cool.
Wow.
But the sampling thing, it goes back to this, right? You up until the Roland TR-8 was really the first programmable drum machine on the market. Prior to that, you had like the CompuRhythm. The CompuRhythm was this box, right? And it was like what you see in your grandparents' living room with the Wurlitzer organ and the samba and the mamba, dun 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 dun, right? The drum machines, that's all they did. So that was it, right? Kraftwerk, what they did was that they got into sequencing, and they synthesized. They got synthesizer sounds to as close as they could to drums, right? And what's great about those guys, if you go back and listen to those records and everything, they sound simple, right? But when you look at what was available back then to do these types of records, it's just like, I hear it a lot in like the in like Daft Punk, and who are the other guys? Because prior to doing hip hop music, I played Jeff Coulter and we played electronic music. That was our big thing. We performed. We actually played Kraftwerk Audubon. We used to perform at clubs, and so the drum machines became programmed. You had the 808 became programmable, right? So then from that came the whole. You had the Mirage, right? You had like a quarter second of like sample on the Mirage. It just went rum, rum, rum. That orchestra hit, right? But then you had all these different machines now coming out from all these different companies, Akai and everything, and Roland, and they're all like, you can do more with them, right? You have more flexibility. You can create drum programs. You can write your own programs. You can do beats. You can do it all day long. But what can you do from there if you're not really a practicing, musician, right?
Right.
Well, holy cow. We're in a genre of music that really evolved from DJs, right? So let's do what we've always done. Let's just sample records, right? And so it was, when you come up with something, it's dope as fuck, and it's really good, yet it's sampled, and it's sampled and everything like that. You're people just want their shit out there, and they want to be heard so bad. So they're gonna do it. But that's I think how it happens. I think that there was a lot of a lot of kids in hip hop, really didn't have they didn't know how to play keyboards or guitar and everything like that. And, it was inevitable, because I think it's really, if you look at how hip hop evolved from the very beginning, and then you look at to where it was like in like the mid to late 80s and stuff like that, it was like, you now had like this incredible ability. Now studio production is starting to become a real thing. You know, things are starting to happen, and like I remember this was crazy. You know, they had the Roland Doctor Rhythm, right, which was like a little hand version of the 808, just but didn't do anything. It was like I think it had like 2 beats on it, right? But just like the 808, it had a decay on the kick drum, right? So literally throughout the 80s, every single demo I ever got that was on a cassette, it had that kick drum with the decay turned all the way up. Because kids, they didn't, you know, they don't know how, they can't make any louder. They have no outboard gear. So it's like, oh, let's just turn the decay up, right? And that evolved into a sound, right? That evolved into like a legitimate, you know, the demonstrative, you know, aspect of hip hop was that, right? So it's easy for me really to see how sampling became this thing. And I remember my buddy Wes Hine, who owned Enigma Records, and now Wes is one of the principals in one of the largest cannabis distribution companies in the United States. I remember Wes saying that there was going to become sampling clearinghouses. It actually didn't happen until this last 2 years with Tommy Silverman. He's got a company that that basically brokers beats and pieces of music from stuff, right, for producers and people to use. Right. And a friend of mine from a company did a deal with him for a record that they had in their catalog, very small, really unknown artist. And they did the deal with Tommy Silverman. And like 3 weeks later, somebody used it. It came out on this big record, and they made like $350,000 for doing nothing, right?
Wow.
So look, you know, the business, right? The entertainment is right now. So you have the vinyl thing going on, but the other thing is, you guys, I'm sure you're aware of this, is rights management and this rabid purchasing of publishing and music rights, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I was miffed about for the longest time, and then somebody broke it down for me the other day. Actually, a person who's involved in this day in, day out. I was thinking, how, if somebody has a publishing catalog, right, and it's in the end of the day, it was like $5 million, right? But like real estate, if there's no inventory to buy, then what you have is worth more money. Okay, so what you have is really is $5 million, but because there's no other inventory, it's now $20, $25 million, right? So you have some of these catalogs, these people are getting like $100, $200 million, right? So where is how do you make the where's your return on it, right? Because it's going to take 11 billion millenniums to recoup that money.
Right.
And what I had found out, and this was interesting, was that they know they're not going to recoup. They're getting it's the cost of the money makes the deal viable, because they're getting the money from these large companies who are the brokers. It's all surplus insurance company money. And as long as they're making 2.5% a year back, they don't give a shit. But what it does is that the companies are doing the buying, right? The companies who are acquiring these catalogs. So they're getting cheap money to buy these catalogs. They don't really make any money, but the value of it is increasing their abilities and like their, you know, value of their company and all the good stuff that comes with that. So that's kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't call the whole thing a racket, but you know, it's not really a racket. I mean, but it does kind of like just a tiny bit remind me of the what was the movie, right? You know, about the Steve Carell and Brad Pitt, you know, about the
the Big Short.
The Big Short, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's like, where does it end? It's got to end at some point. But the only thing, but the big difference here is that it's not, they're not selling houses to people who can't afford to buy them.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Would this be like what Reservoir is now?
What's that?
Reservoir Media. Who did they purchase? They purchased all kinds of.
They bought Tommy Boy. They bought Chris Schwartz. But they're, you know, but the thing is, they're now officially like a record company, and they're very cool people, by the way. Oh my God, some of my most favorite people on the earth work there. But they're purchasers, they're buyers, right? And they started out as really more of like a publishing company, right? But look, in this day and age, the really the description, of all these companies, just what I said earlier about these companies they're claiming to be these artist services platforms for helping the artist become the entrepreneur and helping him avoid the pitfalls, right? Giving him business advice. It's like, yeah, you're a management company, man. But look, at the end of the day, I would love to think that if I was a writer of a publishing catalog that was legitimately worth probably about 25 million, but having the ability to sell it for 75, who can get mad at that?
Right.
Yep. One of our people in the chat, Hype Style, shout out to Hype Style, had a question. He said, "This is the 30th anniversary of Chris Cross's first LP, and what was your relationship like with the kids and with Jermaine Dupri?"
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's no issues there. I mean, I'll tell you, it's a funny story that it's a cute story. I feel because the one kid passed away, but those guys, because our first big record was Cypress Hill, the first Cypress Hill record, and we actually had a record before that by Tim Dog that it wasn't a gold record or anything, but it was the first ever single that was sold as a VHS single. In other words, the video was never going to get played because the song was called.
Right.
The song was called. So
Fuck Compton, yes.
Yes, that was it. That was the song. Thank you for reminding the panel. So that's that song. We put it out, and we released it through Sony as a VHS, just selling the video, and we sold over 100,000 of them for $9.99 at the time, and that was like quite a little score.
Yeah.
But then Cypress Hill happens, right? But Criss Cross, yeah, that one I'll admit it got me a little bit by surprise because I wasn't like doing backflips over that song. When we originally signed the group, I thought we were doing, you have two kids that are 11 and 12 years old, right? And they're looking around the neighborhood, right? What do they see? They see their role models. Is it going to be the guy who owns the delicatessen, the guy who runs the bank, blah, blah, blah? Or is it going to be these guys over here who've got the nice rims and the clothes and the girls and the whole thing? Like making that decision, right? That's what it was going to be, this really introspective project, right? And I feel so stupid talking about it now, but it made this record, and it was the last song that went on the record, and before they were even on the radio, before anything, they were on in living color, and Rosie Perez was the music director, like the talent. She was retired, and one of the girls up in Columbia knew her, and they put him on as a favor. I'm at a diner the next morning, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and I'm hungover, and she's giving me a bunch of shit, and I'm listening to this conversation across the table, and it's this like older guy, like in his like early 50s, with his girlfriend, and he's talking about watching Criss Cross in Living Color the night before, and he was going on and on and on and on about it, like it was the greatest thing in the world. I'm sitting there saying, I'm looking at my wife, I said, oh my God, I mean, I think this might be a big record, right? It got to a point where it was the fastest selling physical record for hip hop. And I could, at any given time in my car, find it on one of 4 radio stations, anytime of the day. It was just so huge. But here's the interesting thing. The Criss Cross kids loved Cypress. Like, to them, even though Criss Cross was bad, to them, Cypress. So I'll never forget, there was a show, a Cypress Hill show, and the two kids are hanging out with Sen, right? And Cypress is getting ready to go on. I'll never forget this. Sen, what a gentleman, what a cool guy. He says to the kids, he goes, you know what? I'm not sure where the stage is. Can you take me there? Right? So they got to walk Sen through the crowd. You know what I mean? It was like, it was really crazy, man. It was like, it was really, it was cool. It was very cool. But yeah, but no, Cypress kids, or the Chris Cross kids were they're, you know, look, they're real quiet, to be honest, because you have to, you know, you ever get to a wedding when you're a kid, right? And, you know, you're just not really sure what to say to everybody, right? And these kids, I think they just weren't really sure what to say to people, you know? So they just opted out for the, you know what, I'm just going to shut the fuck up, you know? And so a lot of people thought they were like, you know, rude and stuff like that. It's like, no, they're fucking 12 and 13. They, you know, and Jermaine has always been, you know, cool as butter, you know? Yeah, we never, I'll say this, that we've never had a beef with any artist on the label. I put out a Beanie Siegel record in 2000 something or other, and we had not really a beef. It was just, you know, I don't know. It's like it's a long, complicated story. But I've never had a problem with an artist. I've never, as a matter of fact, when I was on Hot 97 on Ebro, and they were talking about it, how some of the guys from Wu-Tang were on the show, and they got in this conversation about record labels, and they started talking about every single label, about how some artists, you know, all these everything, right? And it's like, was there any label out there? And they're like, and everybody said, yeah, you know, Roughhouse. Nobody's ever made like a claim or a beef on them, right? Because we never fucked anybody, you know. As a matter of fact, I don't feel like we've ever gotten what we should have got, you know. I feel like there was a lot of times that I earlier in with our Columbia days, I feel there was a lot of things that I kind of conceded to that I shouldn't have, right? But you know, I just learning, you know.
Yeah.
So speaking of beef and speaking of crisscross, there is the hip hop, you know, mythology around House of Pain,
Yeah,
Everlast being upset about Jump coming out right as they were going to do Jump Around.
yeah.
It
didn't happen. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Right? Because first off, Everlast blamed it on Joe. Okay.
Right.
Joe would never do anything like that. He doesn't. He's not. See, something like that, you'd have to like plan it out and do it. And like, we're gonna take this, we're gonna put it over here, we're gonna do this and do that. That's not Joe's operational mode, right? And the other part of it, it would have never happened in a million years because Jermaine put together every single song on the Chris Cross record. He did the lyrics, he did everything. He had the kids singing syllable for syllable for syllable for syllable. He put the entire thing together, right? But more so than that is that the manager, this woman manager that managed House of Pain in Cyprus, calls me up and she said, Chris, she goes, you know, we just recorded a song called Jump, and we heard that you guys have a song called Jump, and I went to Sony and I got an advanced copy of it, and it's the same song. You stole it. And I'm like, what? Right? Like what? Like it was the most. And then I said, well, how do we steal it? She goes, oh, Muggs gave it to you guys as a demo for House of Pain, right? Well, what was really great about this call was just the night before I was in the Studio 4 office, because my office was like right next door down the hall. I was in there and I remember seeing the House of Pain demo tape sitting there on a little cubby thing. I said, Amanda, hold on, I'll be right back. I went back, I got the cassette. I said, okay, I'm holding the cassette in my hand. Tell me which one of these songs is supposed to have the Jump thing in. She goes, oh, it's called Jump. I said, Amanda, there's 4 songs here, and none of them are called Jump. So I don't understand, how this whole thing. But what it really came down to is that I it's like they had a song called Jump, and we did a song called Jump. I will say this: I don't think the songs sound anywhere near alike. Now, Amir told me that Questlove told me that that there is like a same drum thing in there somewhere, right? And he knows this stuff. Like he's got encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff. But I when I listen to the 2 songs, like not one, they don't sound anything alike. To me at least, the only thing is that they both were apparently there's at one point we're saying jump too. But you know what? Nobody invented that. That was already started going on in clubs. So that was the thing. And I think quite honestly that that it was more Amanda baiting Everlast on. Because somebody, because it was going to be their big single and everything, right? And somebody had to get blamed, and it was just easier to say, "Oh, Roughhouse has a jump. Oh, well, they stole it, right?" It's like so fucking absurd.
Van Halen had a song.
Is, man.
Called
It's like
I was just gonna say Van Halen and the Pointer Sisters Jump
so everybody just
right at the same time.
That was when rock and roll was at its worst. The worst period of rock and roll ever. I mean, it's like, oh my god, that song Jump.
Not a fan of Van Halen.
Song. It was like when Van Halen came out, I was in the Navy, right? And what could you not love about that record? Ted Templeman, the producer, putting like 20 Fender twin reverb amps stacked on top of each other, and then miking them there, and then miking them back in the room for that that sound, right? Yeah. And then they end up doing dun 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 dun. That is that really stupid sounding keyboard, man. I don't. God, what a ridiculous thing. But anyhow.
But so many kids got laid during that time. I mean, you got to give
Wow.
What, to that song or to just in general?
No, just to that Van Halen era.
I would hope not to that song.
Yeah, a lot of kids were getting laid. I don't think I was one of them.
I wasn't.
You were in the Navy. How could you?
No, right. I know. There's opportunities. I was very awkward. It was an awkward time for me. I was 17 when I joined the Navy, and I was, just a strange thing. But
I got laid more to crisscross, honestly.
So did I. Would you like to meet the band?
Oh my God.
Isn't that horrible? That's a horrible thing.
Warm it up, Chris.
I'm about to.
Ew, come on, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, it's so terrible. That's so terrible. We're gonna burn for that.
Yes.
All right.
Well, my wife thought it was funny.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So where's everybody at here? Where's everybody?
Where are we? Like
Geographically.
location? Geographically?
You?
Yeah.
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And
I'm
Jenny's in
Los
LA.
Angeles.
Yep. M-Rock's outside of Chicago.
Right.
And So Chuckified is down in Louisville.
Louisville. That's where my wife and my brother-in-law went to school at UAK, and that's where my in-laws, the whole, Cincinnati and Louisville, that whole area down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louisville's nice, man.
Yeah, it's a good city.
Kentucky's a nice state.
Well, it's nice to look at. Our politics are trash, but
Yeah,
but we live downtown, so our politics are good down here.
That's good.
Did anybody see this question from Wisdom Beats? Tell us more about the experience of having the Goats on the label. Direct lineage of Stet to the Goats and the Roots. As far as hip hop bands.
That's a very good question. The Goats were just a laugh a minute. The Goats were really cool, And I'll tell you guys an interesting fun fact. You guys want a fun fact?
Please.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so the Goats broke up after the second record, and just for whatever reasons, they kind of went their separate ways. So for the next 8 years or so, we get fan mail, right? We got more fan mail on the Goats than Crisscross, Cypress, Miss Hill, Wyclef, Fugees combined.
Really?
Yeah. How crazy is that?
Wow.
And not only that, mail from some of the most fucked up places on the face of God's great earth, right? But then like a lot of Eastern Bloc countries, the Middle East, South America, just all these like places. And it's because the first record, Tricks of the Shade, it really like touched a chord with people. It was from a political standpoint, a lot of people identified with it and got into it and everything. The Goats, we had a good shot with them, and it's just there was issues in the group, issues that I don't feel it's fair to talk about unless I'm willing to talk about it myself, and I'm just not in the mood tonight to tell you guys what a drug addict and alcoholic I was. But they just they just had, look, it's like you're aligning the stars, right? You look at groups like Black Sheep and Yagfu and all these artists, right? You have millions and millions and millions of hip hop groups walking the face of God's great earth right now, right? But it's not very often that you just get a group that comes together and for whatever reason, what they're doing is credible, it's tasty, it's hooky, it's applicable. They're the type of thing that they know how they want to be perceived by their audience and everything. And it just, I'll tell you, like acts like this, obviously they don't grow on trees, right? And the Goats were like, the Goats in that regard, to me, were just on the same level of like a Cypress Hill or Fugees or Nas and everything. And it's like I think they had an opportunity to really, I'll tell you this, it was the first hip hop act I'd ever signed where I had the entire support of not just Sony US, but Sony Europe too.
Oh, wow.
Like they their whole thing was that Columbia Records kind of felt that the Goats were going to be like their Rage Against the Machine, and yeah, it was a shame the way it all fell apart. But right now we're trying to put a record together, so
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
So Chris, you mentioned Nas before. So this gem here, could you talk to us a little about? Is this the one that got away?
I can't. Let me put on my glasses.
You can't see it.
I can't. Is that?
It's Illmatic.
Yeah,
Illmatic.
Yeah, it's a great record. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the story about the source true?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Illmatic would have happened with or without us anyhow, right? Yeah. I don't like, because we put out the are you guys still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Oh, wow, you disappeared off. I can't see you guys. Now I'm just talking to my computer like a moron. Okay, so
can you hear us?
No, I can't see. It's okay. So so the story goes like this, that I used to hang out at a lot of after hours clubs, right? And one of my friends was a manager at one of these such clubs, and we would, go out, hang out, and like literally, right through the daylight into the next day. And he would always play me this record, Live at the Barbecue, right? And it's on Wild Pitch Records. And he was saying, you should find this kid Nas. And it was undeniable when you listen to it. It's like, oh my God, this kid's like incredible, right? But I was like, but he's on Wild Pitch. Like I was kind of like, I guess from feeling sort of like a little bit of a defeat. It's just like, okay, he's so good that nobody else is up there trying to do anything with him, right? So I was like, what's the point? Like, why should I put myself through heartbreak? So about 2 weeks later, right after I already had this conversation with my friend Greg like a million times, 2 weeks later, the president of Columbia Records calls me up, and he said, I need you to take a meeting with MC Search and Faith Newman. She's a friend of mine for years and years and years. So she was the A&R person up at Columbia. I said, yeah, what are we meeting about? This artist named Nasty Nas. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, right? Cool. So I hang up the phone like, wow, that's fucking amazing, right? So they come down. We go to this fabulous restaurant called the Spaghetti Warehouse, and we have lunch, and we decide we're doing this deal. And I was doing a project with Search for the soundtrack for a movie called Michael Rappaport called Zebrahead. So
Right.
So we do this record, and we spent like $1,100 on this video for halftime. And so now the record's getting made, the album. And what happened was John Schechter from The Source. Now, you guys probably don't know this, but The Source, because I started with School ED, right? I was the School ED's, original manager and everything. And we sent out the first copies of The Source when it was like a newsletter out when I would send records to retail and clubs for School ED, right? So, I kind of helped these guys out in the very beginning. And so John Schechter comes down to hang out. And so I'm really busy, but he's sitting at my desk, and we're just making small talk, and he goes, "Oh, by the way," he goes, "I heard you sign Nas." I said, "Yeah, I did, but I'm busy. I'm not really kind of half paying attention to him." And he said, "Do you have any music?" And I'm like, "Well, you know what, John, I do, and I'll let you hold it, but you can't play it for anybody, none of that nonsense." He goes, "Oh yeah, sure, don't worry about it. Yeah, all good." So he got what he came for. He talks about this in articles about how he came down there specifically to wheedle a cassette out of me, but it wasn't his fault what happened. So he that night, Dave Mays calls Donnie, president of Columbia, and he said, "We're putting Nas on the cover of The Source." He didn't even have a record out, right? So now Columbia's like saying, "We gave this to Roughhouse. What do we do here, right?" But here's why they gave it to us. They gave it to us because they didn't want to sign it, right? And at the time, they owed us millions of dollars, right? So there's a thing of pipeline revenues. So the great thing about the book publishing business and the music business, right? If you're in a transaction with somebody and there's some big windfall of cash, even though they're supposed to split it with you, they're basically like, they don't have to give it to you till they're contractually owed. So we knew we had all this money owed, right? So any way that Sony could get us to spend our future monies that they owe us on something where it would go to the venture, they're gonna try and do it, right?
Right.
So the whole idea was that they weren't really sold on Nas. So they figured, well, let's give it to Roughhouse, right? Because they're going to have to all the money and everything. We'll just take it out of their, out of the thing, out of our pipeline royalties. What they didn't count on was Nas just exploding in the streets, right? So, about a week, 2 weeks later, Rose, who worked for me, got a phone call. It was talking to somebody up at Sony, and they were talking about how Nas was going to be on Columbia Records. And I was like, and Rose comes over and tells me, I said, "Well, how does that work? Because he's contractually signed to us, right?" And of course, 2 hours later, my phone rings, and it's Don Einer, and he says, "Can you and Joe come up to New York?" Right? So now Donnie, is a really great record executive, and I kind of felt that he was, part and parcel to our success, right? Because he was he came up as a promotion guy and everything like that. So we're sitting in his office, and he's showing me a fax from Tommy Mottola, and the subject of the fax is, "How did Nas end up on Roughhouse?" And then blah 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 blah. At the bottom of the fax, in big magic marker, this is Tommy talking to Donnie, "You fucking asshole," right? So Donnie's showing me this fact, showing it to Joe and I. He goes, look, guys, he goes, I've never asked you for anything, blah, 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 blah. I'm really in a bad way here because this is never going to end, and, blah, blah, blah. And he says, would you let us buy you out? And that's what we did. So that's what happened.
Wow.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Can I ask? You guys put out DMX's first single.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, Born Loser. And what happened? What happened
Well,
there?
that one was your fault, I think. I gotta see what this says. I think I can see you guys if I turn this on. What does it say? Get notifications on your computer. No, thank you. What am I looking for this?
Should just be a browser, whatever browser you had open.
Right. Oh, this right. Now that's my drive. I don't know what you guys
Probably
did. Are
just
you
the
in my
window.
computer right now? What are you looking at?
Yeah, we're looking at you.
Stay away from those folders, okay? Stay away. The ones that are marked special project, just don't go into them. All right.
No, we're looking at you, man.
Yeah. So
Warren, there is a person.
No, DMX. Kurt Woodley bought that to us, and Kurt Woodley is also the guy who gave Puffy his first gig in MCA. Kurt Woodley is also the person who discovered Mary J. Blige. So Kurt bought that to us, and it was. Let's see. You've ever heard the song "Born Loser"?
I like it's a 12-inch.
Oh my God, how banging is that track?
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the thing. In the world of contracts and options and option periods and everything. So business affairs have these little like ticklers, right? And so because we had to go, all should administrate through them. So whenever there was an option coming up, whether it's a single album or whatever, we would get notifications from them, and they're saying, "You got this artist is coming up for blah blah blah. Let's talk. What do you want to do? Let's. What are we doing here? Right? Nothing ever happened like that with DMX. In other words, Sony, for some reason, kind of let that one slide by. Now, I should have been paying attention to it, but I was kind of busy too at the time. And what had happened was, by the time we even became aware of it, number one, it was too late. Number two, he was already falling in with the Rough Riders people. But you know what? I'm going to say this in for what it's worth. I think he was better off. I don't necessarily know if we could have done with him what they did. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think they were more like they had more of the pedigree for that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, he did start with us, and
early too. That was 93.
Yeah. I hung out with him at the L'Hermitage in LA one night, and I know this that he rolled out of there at like 2, and we were drinking Maker's Mark, and I had probably the worst hangover of my life the next day. And I see him walk in, and he's like all normal and shit the next day. I was like, it's bad. I mean, that kind of like when it's just bile coming up, and you're like, you're just no good to anybody. Yeah, but talented guy.
Yeah. Yep. Jenny, did you have a question?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I sure did not.
So this was fun.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We'll wrap it up.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, so the next time you guys have me back, you already know everything is good, getting ready. But I have I've got about 7, 8, almost like 10 projects coming out, and every single one of them is like you're gonna freak out. It's like I don't know.
He's dying to tell. He's dying to tell.
I know. I really am. I just can't tell. I just can't. It's like, it sucks. But
And that's why. And that's why you'll come back.
Right? We'll set up something every couple of weeks where you could just peek
Yep.
in and say, by the
Right.
way.
Yep. The Schwartz
way,
report.
My company is making billions. I just want you all to know. And any of you that are collecting unemployment, I just want to say, stick in there. Stay with it. You'll be okay. And by the way, this week, I just signed Kanye. I'm checking off.
Oh, God.
By the end of the show.
Thank you, Chris.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you,
guys are
sir.
Awesome.
Back at you,
And,
man.
and I want to thank especially all the little people, the people behind the scenes, the people who make it all come together. Let's thank them. Let's give them a round, right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. Yeah, awesome. So hey, can I get a copy of this or something? Or do you guys record it?
It'll be on YouTube. Yeah.
It'll be on YouTube. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
Yes, sir.
My brothers and sisters, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
Take
Chris.
care.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
Thank you, bro.
Good dude.
That was
Yeah. Talk about music business 101. Jeez.
Right?
Well, somebody had said it was business 303. It was like a 300 level course.
Yeah, right? Seriously.
We were talking about
Right.
pipelines and shit. I was like, all I know is he's probably made a lot of fucking money. Although I was a little concerned about, the fact that he's the CEO. I was interested in where he was staying because it was clearly a hotel. And so I was like, man, he keeps it grimy. It's like, man, if I was the CEO of Roughhouse, I'd be rolling up in the Four Seasons.
Man. Wow. That was awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, it really was.
You know what's cool is that so back when Chuck first went online and started the PE site, he would do these things called the terror domes, right? And it'd be rambling, talking about stuff going on. And so, we're talking like 90, 99, I guess, or 98, 99, and he's pissed off at Def Jam and he wants to get out of there, right? So he's trying to figure out what to do with PE because they had already worked on the Poison record and they were trying to find a home for it, And so he's like, he did this terror dome about, I'm trying to figure out what to do with PE or whatever. And so I emailed him and, he didn't know who I was. And but he in the he had said in the other terror domes he had talked about how when Def Jam was with Sony, he dealt with Sony. He didn't really deal with Def Jam after a while. He was dealing directly with Sony. So I sent him an email and I'm like, what about Roughhouse? I said, because they're still with the Sony. They're, you get back in the Sony system or whatever. And this is, the days of dial-up and, I check my email once every 3 months or something like that,
Because it took
mail.
too long to get in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because it took so goddamn long to do it. So 3 months later, no exaggeration, I happen to go in and check my email. Chuck D writes me back. And I was like, holy shit, Chuck D sent me an email. And I'm like, and he was like, yeah, Doc. He was like, yeah, I actually thought about Roughhouse. That would be a good fit. So, evidently, or as the story goes, they went super independent and went with Atomic Pop that had just started up and didn't last very long. But that's cool shit that we got to talk to Chris Schwartz of Roughhouse, and that was my first email to Chuck D.
Well, what's interesting is you have two Chuck D stories where you just fucking ghosted him.
Right?
Yep.
C-Doc knows how to play it.
That's
He
right.
plays cool. He don't get upset.
Not at all.
Oh, shit. That's fantastic.
Oh my
We
god.
got some good people on this show.
Yeah. Seriously, we have. Yep.
And half the hosts are dope. I mean, it's a good show.
Half of them, yeah. The other half, whatever.
Yeah. Shady.
Born
Like
Against has a
over there.
weird feeling that MF Doom is alive.
Oh no, I saw that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Born Against. Born Against has been entertaining me tonight.
Oh man. Yep. He's got
Absolutely.
yep. He's coming with that commentary. So
Yeah.
and yes, Wisdom Beats. I got the Tough Crew. Amrock's got his.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a hell of an album.
Yep. Dope
Get all
shit.
the snacks.
Shout
All
out to
I have
DJ
are
Too
some
Tough.
little Sted albums.
Shit, that you got the rarity joint. Come
Yeah,
on.
I
man.
know.
Little Sted
The
singles.
Red 45.
Yeah, you got
No,
the red
see-
joint.
The rare. I know
Dope.
you're like dying for this
Yeah.
because
I'm
of
trying
the
to find
shape
I'm trying to
it's
find
in.
one that's in that good condition. You know?
But yeah, let me talk to Daddy, or I might come up off of one of these.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. Oh
You
yeah,
want number 26 or number 27?
shout out to Head Snack. Yes, MC Search's MF Doom podcast was dope.
Jenny keeps saying she's gonna get Search on the show, but she didn't come through on that. one.
No, I'm not.
That's why we're gonna get Pete Nice.
I am
That's
not
right.
getting Search on the show. Search doesn't want to,
Well,
and that
Search-
is prerogative.
That's it.
well, Search gets the
That's
gas.
Bobby Brown.
So- Search gets the gas face. You let him know that, Jenny. He gets the gas.
Now. Search is the buddy from way back. So no,
I know
Search
it's some of
does
your
not get
buddies
the
from way
gas
back.
face.
Damn straight cheese.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. So we'll have to get Pete Nice for sure.
Pete
Yeah.
Knight and the Lumberjack.
Yeah.
DJ Daddy Rich.
Yep. Swing, swing, swing. Chop, chop, chop.
Is he the one that did that?
Yeah. Well, no, they sampled it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because
Daddy-
I'd heard in
he's
what was that in Black Korea in
Yes.
Ice Cube Death Certificate.
Or no, Horny Little Devil.
Horny Little Devil. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
Yep. I used to,
Yeah. Did you tell people Ice Cube's gonna be on here?
not yet.
Okay.
Were we supposed to say anything?
I don't know. No. Chris Schwartz was talking about him releasing some rare vinyl with Ice Cube and Tupac.
The cat's
People are gonna be.
bag.
People are gonna. This is gonna end up on all hip hop tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. World Star. Fucking who are these?
World
who are
Star,
these
yeah.
people? Tupac and Ice Cube doing a joint
Yep.
in Jamaica.
All hip hop, they're not going to stop talking about Kanye long enough to.
Yeah. Right.
Man, I'm telling you, I can't believe that C-Doc loves Kanye as much as he does, because that dude is just
Yeah.
an asshole.
Right.
Kanye and Eminem.
Yeah. My top two.
His two
Got those top
ride or
organizations.
die.
My top two artists that I never listened to.
You know
Yeah.
what's funny? So Louisville has one. I wouldn't consider him hip hop, although they say he is. Jack Harlow is from Louisville.
Oh, is he? He's from Louisville. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
He went to high school here. Like he did like 5 concerts here in like different venues this past year. Anyway, he actually is on one of Eminem's new tracks off of Music to Be Murdered By. They did a
Wow.
remix and he's on there. And I was like, really? Well, come on, man. Shit. I know it's a way to keep, selling records, but shit.
That's the thing,
You know
man.
that-
I don't.
He's-
M doesn't. He's Eminem for fuck's sake. He gonna sell 1 million records just sneezing on the record.
Right.
He could read the phone book and
Yeah. Yeah. Wisdom Beats
know,
likes Jack Harlow, I guess.
I watched this.
Get it.
No, you said he's actually a nice MC. I watched this interview with Chris Schwartz before, and he was talking about Soren Baker. He was like, some guy wrote this book. He's like, I don't remember his name, but I was like yelling at the computer at Soren Baker.
Quite an incestuous show. Like everybody we have on is like everybody's running in this, this circle. And of course, Daddy O's involved with all of them. So
of course,
yeah,
right.
Do we need to connect those two, Daddy O and Chris? Because he got a little excited about that.
Right? Maybe that's gonna be a.
I didn't even get a chance to say, but Daddy-O was mad excited about the fact that we were talking to him tonight.
Oh, word! Hey,
Dope.
Maybe Rough Nation's going to be interested in putting out Stet vinyl, huh?
There you go.
That'd be pretty cool,
right?
Something going on there.
That might be the thing.
Yeah, because Daddy-O, he was like, "Ooh, are you ready for?" He was kind of excited about it.
Yeah, that was good.
This is the strategy part of our show. This is where we interview and we do what we get paid to do, and then we figure out strategy. So you all are sitting in a meeting right now. So welcome.
This is it. Yep. Welcome to the meeting.
Label on there, and everybody will be good.
Yep. Exactly.
I do want to make a little shout out here or call out to anybody in the chat tonight that has video editing chops that I'd like to talk to. We got a shit ton of content that I know C-Doc doesn't have time to go back and rip out.
That is true. I haven't even had time to, because I keep saying to myself, I really need to pull quotes and put them up on my Instagram, and I haven't done that.
Yeah. You need to fire this. You got put Jenny in charge. Get her ass.
That's right.
She doesn't talk enough on the show, so she could be back there. You're going to be doing
every time I open my damn mouth.
But the thing about it is that I can't fire the social media guy because he volunteers. So
it's bad when they volunteer. You can't fire them. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you should
get his shit together. That's for sure.
Oh Lord! All right, y'all. I got to bounce because I'm going to order a pizza. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't eaten today.
Word up.
A little low on
Wisdom
energy.
Pete says this is the after party.
This is the after party.
And we're ordering pizza.
Nice.
Yeah, we're ordering pizza. M-Rock's going to spin.
Yeah, going to get some Zima.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right. That's how I started out as Seagrams.
Yeah, did you notice that Wisdom Beats? I've been nominated. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Zima. How many people put a noun later in Zima?
Mara, you put a now.
Was that a thing?
Now and later in Zima?
Yeah, dude.
Never heard.
Yeah. Grape or a watermelon, throw it down in there. That shit was dope.
I can honestly say I don't think I ever drank a Zima.
Oh man, you need to go pick night.
You didn't live.
Bartles and no, wait a minute. See, you guys are so much younger than me. Bartles and James was the thing.
Bartles and James.
Oh yeah.
Man, those didn't have but like what 0.2. Like Zima was like the original malt liquor, Blitz or anything, but Although my go-to is King Cobra.
Mars says Jolly Ranchers.
King Cobra. Damn.
Wow.
Woo.
King Cobra and private stock up in this motherfucker.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you did you ever
maybe was Jolly Ranchers? Would you say, Imrock?
I asked if you ever drank Colt 45 because rumor has it gets them every time.
It does. It does get them every time. I tell you, I did.
Just ask Billy D. Williams.
That's right, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
I did drink a. Have y'all ever heard of that Four Loko? You ever heard of Four Loko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, don't drink that shit.
No. Mike Miller
drink-
says Red Dog.
Yeah. I drank a Four Loko when we were on an RV trip last year and fell out of the fucking trailer, almost into the fire. Woke up the
Sounds
next
like-
day. I mean, I told my kids and my wife, I was like, I had dreamed, like, I thought the world was ending, like it was crazy. That shit, I don't know what was in it.
You went loco.
Raspberry. It was, God.
Yeah.
Fell out of the trailer straight up, like took one step off. There were 3 other steps and just bam. It was on Halloween. It was a fucking mess.
Oh,
I'd
man.
actually pay money to see that.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids remember it. Those little jokers don't let me live it down.
Oh, I'm
Dave,
sure.
Loco? We're going on a trip. You getting some Loco? I'll lock your ass in the RV bathroom, though.
Where are you getting pizza from?
I don't know. Probably Domino's, only because I can track it.
There you go. They do get the
That's the only thing we have
tracking.
going on with them. Yeah. I really need to get my lazy ass out and get the carry-out special, because if you get a pizza from Domino's, it's $20. You go get it, it's like $7.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just got it with the kids the other night because they got the medium thing deals. It's like $5.99 or some shit. Pick
Yeah.
that shit up.
Yeah, no. Too
Can't
lazy.
beat that. Yep, I get it.
No, but
Well-
he'll go around the corner to the chicken place in a heartbeat.
If they were open, I fucking would. I'd walk down there.
There you go.
Absolutely. Daddy Rich's.
Priorities. Daddy
He's
Rich.
getting sick,
Swing,
but
swing, swing.
there
Chop,
you go.
chop, chop.
That's right. Daddy Rich. See, it's all full circle.
It is.
And Daddy-O owns it.
Right. Daddy owes it. Daddy Rich's
You're
right
always-
now.
You're always trying to involve.
Connor, you want your
Daddy-O.
usual? The dude at Daddy Rich's knows exactly what I want. Like, I come up, he's like, "You want your usual?" Is 4 chicken strips with these unbelievably seasoned fries, and the best part of it, I'll go to any place that has grape Kool-Aid. These jokers, they don't have sodas, Kool-Aid,
No shit.
lemonade and Kool-Aid.
Wait a minute. I came to your city and you didn't even take me there. What the? Come on,
Well,
bro.
Nobody
and
what?
I don't know. You're not grimy enough to go down there.
Okay.
Man, I was worried
Next
too
time,
much.
roll around in the dirt a little bit.
I thought C-Dog was going to die when he stayed at my house. I have these cats, and
No, because
poor
the
guy.
cats. Yeah.
Yeah,
Me and my
You
he was
allergic?
mainline and Benadryl.
goddamn allergies. Yeah. It's the worst.
Mm.
Yep. It's the worst. No, I can't fault you because you took us to the breakfast spot. So
Yeah, but that's not like real. I know what
Wisdom
you mean.
Beat says, "Would you
You know.
please shut the fuck up? Because you're making us hungry."
Well, the way I read that was there was no STFU in there, but thank you very much, Jenny.
Break North
Now-
Radio. Break North Radio's running our clips. Thank you.
Thank
Hollywood.
you.
Dope.
Make sure you censor that shit, because I don't want to get on that list up there.
Oh yeah. Right.
Canada. What the hell? I was going to move to Canada back in the Trump years, and now I'm like, I don't know, man. This shit's getting crazy up there now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hollywood's like, I'm not talking about it.
Yeah.
Hollywood will call you after the show. You're like,
We don't
hey,
wanna go there.
why did you tell them that? I haven't seen a good Hollywood selfie lately. We need one of those.
Yeah.
We need one.
Get
Like,
back on the selfies, Hollywood. Come on, bro.
you
Beard,
know.
no beard, we'll take it. Come on.
Yeah.
Jenny with the flavorful ad libs. Okay.
M-Rock, who we got on next week?
Yeah.
Oh, can I?
Yeah,
Jenny,
Because I keep
Jenny.
trying to do it.
Jenny's got some cat-
I've been trying
you
for
do
2
it.
weeks
You
now.
tried to do it last week, didn't you?
Yeah, Ben Merlis.
Ben Merlis.
Ben
Yes.
Merlis.
I'm a oh yeah. How do you do this? No.
How do you do it?
can do.
I was trying to make you bigger, but I don't know how to do it.
Here, just drag her over here to the big spot.
Oh, is
Here
that what it is?
Just
Oh,
drag
she
me
is.
around.
There you go. Yeah,
Drag her.
Ben Merlis, author of Going Off: The Story of the Juice Crew and Cold Chillin' Records. That's the next week.
Amazing book.
You go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That should be a good convo. So what do you think? We keep it 9 o'clock?
Works for me. What up, YouTube fam? What do you think?
We started off slow, but
Yeah.
we had peeps.
And-
People showed up.
Yeah, it started breaking down. So,
Yeah.
Y'all want to try 9 again? Jenny's got her flock of seagulls going tonight.
I
She
have
got
my
that
what?
flock of seagulls hair going tonight. I like it.
No, that flock of seagulls. That would have been up like this.
Yeah.
Get it
Oh,
right.
wait. I know what it is. Something about Mary.
No, that would be like this.
Yes.
Get it, really get your references together.
Are we keeping you
Flock
from
of
the
seagulls,
bedroom,
not
Doc?
Who said what?
Are we keeping you from anything pressing with you and the old lady?
Oh no, she's still watching the show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Break North. He's like, fuck that. I'm claiming victory on that shit. He gets all profane in our show.
Yeah.
You can do that here.
Fuck it. Fuck them all.
Power to the people and the Canadians.
Power to the motherfucking people.
Yeah.
And Break North Radio. God damn it.
And yeah, and power to the motherfucking break motherfucking North fucking radio.
Right.
I don't know if I got enough in there, but
Like, you almost got
Wow.
like the transatlantic, like, yeah, see?
yeah.
Right.
Break fucking North Radio, see?
Wow.
Who's that,
See?
who's that actor? Who's that actor? Yeah. Yeah, see?
Oh, what was his name?
Oh, yeah, what's his name? I can
Jamie
picture.
Cagney. Right?
Cagney.
Yes. Yeah.
Name.
James Cagney.
Top of the world, ma.
Top of the world, ma.
From
Right.
Break fucking North.
Jimmy?
Yeah, from Break fucking North Radio. Top of the world, ma.
You used to date James Cagney back in the day, didn't you?
We all did.
Oh my
Yeah, we all
God.
did.
Oh my
We all
God.
dated Jenny?
God.
Is that what you said, Imrock?
Wow. Wait a minute now.
Imrock.
I'm breaking
I've
up. I
got to be honest.
have to go.
I'm just happy that Imrock's phone didn't die tonight.
No, I got
Oh yeah, you got the new
He
Connect,
got the
right?
new charger
the new charger,
or
bro.
the new thing.
Bruh.
Oh,
Breh.
okay.
Whichever.
Good.
Making a difference with the connection.
That's right. Yep. I'm
Yeah.
juiced. Go on.
Word.
I'm not
Wow.
a big bruh guy. I'm a barrage from Workaholics. Have y'all seen that show?
Oh, not enough. I've seen like little bits, but I gotta watch it.
That show's so
Among
fun.
20,000 other
So
things.
we're
I
not
gotta
going to
watch.
start calling you Broham,
I like Broham
Broski.
a Broham Lincoln.
or Brogum. I like Brogum.
Hey, bro.
Abraham Lincoln. Oh. That's amazing.
That was great. That
Oh,
was fantastic.
Whew.
Here, I'll give you all a
Here
little
are
bit
we.
of trivia real quick, and then I'm going to say good night. All right, tell me what song is from. Rolling in a fucked up Lincoln. Leaning to the side so he looks like he's sinking.
Sinking.
Into
Who's the
that
Mac?
Interior, yes. Good
Who's
call.
the Mac?
Nice.
What are you talking about, Cheesemonger? In regards
This might be
to
the first
Golden
episode that doesn't have reference made by one particular member.
Oh,
of the
thank
group.
you. Thank you for noticing that. But now that you brought it up, watch, it'll happen.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jones?
took me a minute, but yeah.
See, I should have kept my damn mouth shut. Cheesemonger.
I was trying to have it dialed up. That's why Spotify was open. I couldn't fucking make it work. So I am going to go drink some orange juice after this, though, while I stand in the rain.
Whatever.
You know, $30,000.
Oh no! Do we have to? You know, it's the C-Doc remix.
That's right. People don't know, but Orange Juice Jones coming back on Spit Slam.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Actually, we're gonna do a compilation record with him and
Daddy-O.
Arabian Prince and DJ Yella.
Yep. There it is.
Why Yella? Why do you keep pulling Yella out of your back pocket?
Because of his post music foray, business forays.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of DJ Yella entertainment on my VR headset.
That was even going before.
Oh, was it?
You know that,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, ask Alonzo. Ask Alonzo. Because he used to use Lonzo's house all the time.
Wow.
All right. Put them on the glass, y'all. I'm rolling.
All right. So Chuckified. M-Rock, you want to take us out with some music?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard I was loud before, so I turned down.
Chris didn't have the headphones, so I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, it's sound problems again.
Yeah. That's how we changed the name of the show.
Sound drops again.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into another episode of It's audio difficulties again.
All right, y'all. Till next week, 9 o'clock. Ben Marlis.
Peace.